Hello and welcome. This is Flamin Hot Reviews, and I bet you thought this channel was dead. But don't worry, like a spicy necromancer, I am here to bring it back from the brink. So, I guess to apologize for my terrible upload schedule, I got caught up with moving recently. I'm in a new house now, and I've actually got this whole room. This is just my office to record in. So, you know, it's got all the essentials. I got my record player and records. I got a piano in here now, which I don't know how to play. And I've got, oh, of course, my early 20th century oil painting, one of the essentials. Most important of all, I've got this nice box of Flamin Hot products, courtesy of my mom. Shout out to my mom for buying this for me. So luckily, we've got a whole lot of content lined up thanks to this. So today, because you have all waited so patiently for the newest video, I will actually be reviewing two different products. We will be doing the Flamin Hot Cheetos with lime, and we will also be doing the Flamin Hot Funyuns. So let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, so to kick it off, we're going to start with the Flamin Hot Cheetos with lime, or I suppose, as they are more correctly known, Flamin Hot Limon. Now, I don't speak Spanish, so I'm actually not sure what that word means. But these are supposed to be Flamin Hot Cheetos with a hint, a little sprinkle, a little splash of lime flavoring. Now, these are pretty interesting to me because what I find strange about them is that, and let me go ahead and show you. When you actually look at the Cheeto itself, it looks a lot like a regular Cheeto. It looks like your standard, you know, what you would expect to pull out of, say, I'm going to see if I have any here, say a regular, you know, a Flamin' Hot, you know. But these are, of course, a little bit different. They are supposed to have some extra lime flavor added. So I'm going to go ahead and actually try these. I've actually not really had these before. I think I may have tasted one once before. But this is going to be a pretty fresh review, so I will kind of try to react in real time, and we'll see how they are. I'm try to get one. Sometimes you got to kind of get them more from the bottom because the flavor dust can kind of settle. Pro tip. Okay, so off the bat, I'm actually not getting a ton of lime notes. It's not super overwhelming. Honestly, on the first bite of that initial Cheeto, it actually kind of tastes a lot like a regular Flamin' Hot Cheeto. I feel like if someone was eating these and they just kind of came up to me and they were like, hey, why don't you give this a try? I might not even know the difference. So, however, I will say as you keep going on and eating it, it definitely starts to kind of roll in and show up. So, I guess to go with our typical grading scale for review, since it's been a little bit, that is texture out of 5, flavor out of 5, and of course spiciness out of 5. Texture, I'm going to go ahead and get that out of the way. Don't have a lot to say here. I mean, these are Flamin' Hot Cheetos essentially when it comes to texture. You know, not trying to reinvent the wheel here. You know, Frito-Lay's, they kept it simple. They didn't make any changes. It's the same normal crunchy Cheetos texture that, you know, you've come to know and love. 5 out of 5, obviously. Now, flavor. This is where it's going to kind of get interesting because on one hand, you have the standard Flamin' Hot flavor, which is certainly there. But you do as you start to eat them, as you start to get more and more of these, you get more and more of those citrusy, limey kind of notes. It's not very sour. It's just kind of there on top. However, I would kind of actually like a little bit more lime. Maybe I just got a bad bag here. Maybe there are Flamin Hot Limon bags out there that are just bursting at the seams with lime. What is interesting about these is about a day or two ago, my husband, Tori, actually tried a bag of these, and he told me that they had a lot of lime flavor. So that could actually kind of be indicative that maybe it kind of varies. Maybe it depends on the Cheeto that you're eating. Maybe it depends on the bag you're eating. Maybe it depends on the factory that they came from. I mean, who can say? So, I don't know. For me, that's going to be a bit of a knock against it, I think. I think the fact that you don't get a lot of that lime, because, you know, lime and spicy, they're two very complementary flavors. I mean, you see that a lot in Mexican cuisine, certainly. You see that a lot, I mean, just in general. You know, lime and spicy, it's well known, they complement each other. So, because I'm not getting a lot of lime notes, I'm gonna have to downgrade this a little bit. Gonna have to give this about a 3 out of 5 on the flavor. I mean, it tastes good. It's not that it's bad. It's just, I want more. You know, I want more. As for spiciness, one thing I will say is that these are not nearly as spicy as a typical Flamin' Hot Cheeto. And I think that probably has something to do with the citrus. Citrus has an effect on spicy foods where it can tend to kind of downplay it. There's different types of flavor. You know, there's sweet, savory, salty, sour is one of them. Umami is kind of it's a bit of a newer concept. I mean, it's not new, but it's new to the Western palate. The concept comes from Japan, but that kind of replaced the old, you know, spicy flavor that you used to see. It's kind of like it's a very savory flavor, but Cheetos, of course, would of course be known for their umami flavor, and citrus tends to be more of a sour flavor, and so sour and umami are kind of contrasting flavors, which is partly why they pair so well together, like a salty and sweet kind of thing. But they also, in this instance, kind of has an effect of the sour kind of dampens the spiciness. So I think that's what's happening here. So what I will say is spiciness, it's really only gonna be about a 3 out of 5 for me. It's not very spicy at all. I mean, you could eat these all day. However, that might not be a bad thing. If you're not a typical Flamin' Hot eater, if you're a little newer to this, these can kind of be a good jumping off point. I believe I said that in one of my past reviews. I believe it was with the Ruffles, where they're not quite as spicy, so if you're not super used to spicy foods, this can be a good starting point for you, a good way to kind of get your feet wet, get used to it. So yeah, just a quick review. Flavor, 5 out of 5, let me start over. Texture, 5 out of 5. Flavor, 3 out of 5. And spiciness, 3 out of 5. All right, so to kick off the second review of this video, we will now be looking at Flamin' Hot Funyuns. Now, a couple interesting things I just want to note real quick about Funyuns. First of all, they're supposed to be sort of onion rings, right? Supposed to be like onion rings you can get in a bag and you eat them as a snack. Now, what I do think is funny is that if you look at the bag, they are actually onion flavored rings. That is actually because if you look at the ingredients, there is actually no onion in this product at all, other than, you know, onion flavoring. These are actually made from cornmeal. Interesting, and they're just heavily flavored with a dose of onion. But yeah, a bit of a common misconception, I think. No real onion. These are not actually fried onion rings. Sorry to let you down. Another thing that I actually think is interesting, and this isn't something that you see on a lot of modern snack foods, but back in the day, something that snack foods would do is they would write these lovely descriptions about what the snack was supposed to taste like, and they were always so ridiculous. And so, of course, Flamin' Hot Funyuns have some, so I'm going to go ahead and read it, and we can kind of see how my review stands up to their own self-description. So let's see here. Flamin' Hot Funyuns, onion-flavored rings, a deliciously different snack that's spicy fun. That's what I put on my Tinder profile. I'm just kidding. I'm married. Finally, the zesty taste of Funyuns brand onion-flavored onion rings. Funyuns brand onion-flavored rings you've known for years has been set on fire. That is in red and all caps with an exclamation point. Flamin' Hot Funyuns brand onion-flavored rings deliver the crispy texture and shape of an onion ring with a sizzle that will set your mouth on fire. Flamin' Hot Funyuns brand onion-flavored rings. I really love that they have to spell it out completely every time, and I will be referring to them as Flamin' Hot Funyuns brand onion-flavored rings for the rest of this review. And I encourage you to do the same, actually, are a fun snack that you and your family can eat anywhere and enjoy with your favorite foods. If you can stand the heat, which that's also in red text, they are great for picnics, parties, and lunches. Can your mouth handle the fiery taste sensation that runs rings around other snacks? I like what they did there. There's only one way to find out. Try a bag of Flamin' Hot Funyuns brand onion-flavored rings today. And that is with 2 exclamation points. And finally, Flamin' Hot Funyuns brand onion-flavored rings are Flamin' Hot Fun. Wow. Now that is something to live up to. So, Flamin' Hot brand onion-flavored... I'm sorry, let me get it right. Flamin' Hot Funyuns brand onion-flavored rings, you have set a high bar for yourself. So, let's go ahead and find out. I'm super curious now. I just want to start off this by saying I am not the biggest fan of Funyuns, so I will do my best to not let that personal bias color my review. I try to keep these as subjective as possible. I just want you guys to know that. And so anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at what we got here. So this is our first one. So, looks like a Funyun. Except it's red, of course, which I'm sure you could tell without me telling you. Yeah, so, this is kind of, I'm going to set this bag down. This is kind of your standard, Funyun look here. It's round. There's a couple broken ones in there. I think I found a nice sized one. So let's go ahead and try these out. Let's see how these Flamin' Hot, I already forgot, Flamin' Hot Flamin' Hot brand, hold on, Flamin' Hot Funyun brand onion-flavored rings. Aha! Let's see how they actually are. Okay. See, get one more close look so you can kind of see on the inside. So you can actually see it looks a lot like a Flamin' Hot Cheeto, and that is because of that similar cornmeal composition. Alrighty, so Flamin' Hot Funyuns brand onion flavored rings. How do they hold up? Well, first of all, let's talk about the texture. I'm going to go ahead and say that right now the texture of these is probably the best part. I mean, it's it's fun. They're little rings. You can hold them up to your eyeball. You can wear them like a ring. They're great. You could make a little game where you toss them on stuff. Probably don't want to do that. Then you're not going to want to eat them. They're going to get all dirty. But you could do it. But for the most part, what is nice about them, and let me see if I can get a really good close-up. It's going to be a little tough. My camera's not going to want to focus. There you can still see my face. Is they've got this nice pebbled, you know, kind of craggy texture. You know, these are clearly deep fried. And what happens when they are deep fried is the cornmeal, you know, fills up with bubbles from the heat, you know, the oxygen. So, you know, when you mix the cornmeal up with, you know, you get the dry cornmeal and they mix it up with liquid, probably water. As they are mixing it up, you are incorporating air into the mix. And so by doing that, when you deep fry and you subject these, you know, cornmeal rings to intense heat, the oxygen inside that you've incorporated is going to superheat and expand as bubbles, and it's going to pop out. And what that's going to do is that's going to create air pockets within the onion ring. So what those little pockets do is they create, and I know I've kind of said this before with some of these other products, they create these wonderful, nice little pockets for that flavor dust to kind of rest inside of, to kind of find a nice little home, you know, raise a family, have some kids, and then you can come in and eat those delicious flavor children. That metaphor kind of got away from me, but I think you get the idea. Now, what I'm trying to look here is how much onion flavor or any of that there actually is, because I'm going to be totally honest with you, and I'm kind of moving in. Oh, okay, there is onion powder. All right. And onion extracts, whatever that means. Because as I'm eating these, and I guess, I don't want to get ahead of myself because I'm starting to get into flavor a little. But to kind of finish up with texture, these are great texture. They're Funyuns. Everybody loves them. Okay, not everybody loves them because I just said I don't like them, but, you know, they're great. It's a good texture. So 5 out of 5. I think, you know, that's pretty solid. Texture's the best part about these, I would say. They're light. They're incredibly crispy. I mean, when you bite, you could probably hear, when you bite down on those things, it's a real crunch. You know, you really feel it. And that is, again, because of those air pockets. So, you know, the cornmeal kind of hardens, and you've got all this nice little bubbles that form. And then when you bite down, it's a nice kind of sensation. So that's a 5 out of 5 for me. Flavor, however, is kind of where, you know, I'm a little torn here. I've got the standard Flamin' Hot flavor, which to me is an improvement over the standard Funyuns. But you're really not getting a lot of that onion. And I'm kind of having the same issue that I had with the Flamin' Hot Limon. You know, these Flamin' Hot Funyuns brand onion flavored rings, for being onion flavored rings, there sure isn't a lot of onion flavor. You know, I'm really not seeing it with these Flamin' Hot Funyun brand onion flavored rings. I mean, so they're spicy. I mean, which, you know, again, I'm getting ahead of myself again, so I'll get there. But they've got the Flamin' Hot flavor, but there's just not a lot of that onion. So I'm gonna have to give these a 3 out of 5. Really not that flavorful. So now for the spiciness. These, I actually also didn't think that these were very spicy. Honestly, really didn't get much more than a tongue tingle. For something that, you know, asks if you can stand the heat and seems to challenge you to try them out. It says that they'll set your mouth on fire. These Flamin' Hot Funyuns brand onion flavored rings, again, I'm really not getting the spiciness. Honestly, almost really don't taste very much like a Flamin' Hot product. I mean, okay, they've got the flavor. It's really just more the spicy aspect of it. I'm really not seeing a lot of it. These are pretty mild, and I'm honestly kind of only feeling 2 out of 5 on these. You know, overall, I think these aren't bad. I think if you're like a diehard Funyun fan, maybe you'll like these. But honestly, when you've got other Flamin' Hot products on the market, I'm just not quite sure why you'd want to reach for Flamin' Hot Funyun brand onion flavored rings, unless you really like them. So honestly, I don't think these are terrible, but it's not the first thing that I would go for in a snack. So just a quick review for the reviews. For the Flamin' Hot Limon, we gave the texture a 5 out of 5. We gave the flavor a 3 out of 5. And we gave the spiciness a 3 out of 5. And of course, for the Flamin Hot Funyuns brand onion flavored rings, we gave the texture a 5 out of 5, the flavor a 3 out of 5, and the spiciness only a 2 out of 5. Thank you for watching, and thank you for being so patient with me. I'm going to really try to stick to a stricter upload schedule, hopefully something like 1 video a week. And I also would like to start, now that we're in our house and we've got a bit more space, bigger kitchen, I would like to make some other new content. So keep a lookout for that. And I hope you look forward to the next review. Let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe, like, share, and I guess I'll see you in the next review.